This is the fourth hour.
Hello, and welcome to it. This is kind of cool. We've just found out what's going to happen in the next 100 years.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I was too. And now we know.
This goes back to, first of all, in 1900, a civil engineer named John Elfrith Watkins made a number of predictions about what the world would be like in the year 2000. So how did he do? Listen to these. These are made in 1900. There will be digital color photography. Now, he didn't use those exact words, but he described digital color photography. Pretty amazing. The rising height of Americans.
Now, when was this?
This is 1900.
Okay, so somebody predicted there would be color photographs.
Digital
Digital
color.
color photographs.
Basically computers, obviously.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. The rising height of Americans. He said Americans will be taller from 1 to 2 inches.
Definitely true.
That's true. Okay, mobile phones. Wireless phones and wireless telephone and telegraph circuits will span the world.
No way. Somebody predicted that in
Yeah,
1900?
Pre-prepared meals, ready-cooked meals will be bought from establishments similar to our bakeries of today.
Oh, I wish we had that. That would have been good. Wait, we do have that. Okay, never mind.
Slowing population growth. Now, remember, this is something in the 60s they were saying was the population explosion. So this guy 60 years before that saw the slowing population growth. There would probably be he said there would probably be about 350 million people in the year 2000. He believed that was going to slow. He was still a little bit too high, but still pretty close.
He believed 350 in America? Is that what?
Yes.
Okay.
The figure is too high, but at least Watkins was guessing in the right direction.
I mean, that's close.
Yeah, if the
So
population...
it's like 310 million. Of course, in 2000, it was probably...
It was 280 million back when he was a little bit low. But listen to this. The figure was too high, but at least Watkins was guessing in the right direction. If the U.S. population had grown by the same rate it did between 1800 and 1900, it would have exceeded 1 billion people by the year 2000. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. Instead, it grew just 360%, reaching 280 million. Hothouse vegetables. Winter will be turned into summer and night into day by the farmer, said Watkins. The electric wires under the soil and large gardens under glass. Vegetables will be bathed in powerful circuit light, serving like sunlight to hasten their growth. All stuff that didn't exist in 1900 and obviously does today. So that was pretty good. Television. Man will see around the world. Persons and things of all kinds will be bought within focus of cameras connected electrically with screens at opposite ends of circuits thousands of miles at a span.
Gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about tanks? Huge forts on wheels will dash across open spaces at the speed of express trains of today. Tanks. Bigger fruit. Strawberries as large as apples will be eaten by our great-great-grandchildren. Lots of larger varieties of fruit have been developed in the past century, but Watkins was a bit over-optimistic with regards to strawberries. But they are much. I mean, you see some of those.
Huge.
Those Sherry's berries? Those Sherry's berries are almost
But he didn't predict them being dipped in chocolate, did he? He wasn't that. Because that, I mean, I would really be impressed with that.
How about the Acela Express? Trains will run 2 miles a minute normally. Express trains 150 miles per hour. Exactly 100 years after writing those words, to the very month, Amtrak's flagship high-speed rail lane, the Acela Express, opened between Boston and Washington, reaching top speeds of 150 miles an hour. Wow, he really nailed that one.
Wow.
Now, he didn't get them all right.
Wow.
4 that he got wrong.
Pretty impressive.
There will be no C, X, or Q in our everyday alphabet. It will be abandoned because they are unnecessary.
That's a weird prediction.
That is weird. Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know why he thought that. Everybody will walk 10 miles a day. Completely wrong on that. There will be no more cars in large cities. Everyone thought it would be all subways and everything else. Obviously not true. And this one I wish was true. No mosquitoes or flies.
Oh, I wish we could have eradicated them.
Yeah, mosquitoes, houseflies, and roaches have been exterminated. Ooh, not right on that one.
No.
But pretty good record there.
Yeah.
Pretty good record. Which brings the BBC to try it again today with listeners, with 2 futurists commenting on the predictions. So
With the same guy who's now like 160 years old?
Long dead. Long dead.
Darn
But
it.
they have 2 new futurists.
Because he didn't predict that I would still be alive to do this prediction again in the next century. He didn't predict that.
No, and he didn't predict that people wouldn't pay attention to his year 2000 predictions until 2012. I don't know why that happened either. But
it's kind of a weird thing, but all right.
Number 1, oceans will be extensively farmed and not just for fish.
That's 100 years from now.
Yes. And the futurists say likelihood 10 out of 10.
Really?
They say that one will happen.
We'll farm it for what? Corn?
Won't be
Pizza?
just fish. Algae farming on the way for renewable energy, maybe even growth for feedstock, raw materials, or resource extraction via genetically modified seaweed or algae. Okay, number 2. We will have the ability to communicate through thought transmission. The likelihood? 10 out of 10
Wow.
in 100 years.
Well, good, because speaking is so difficult.
hate it.
I'm so tired of having to actually say words.
Why don't we try doing that right now? Do a little bit of the show, just thought transmission.
You enjoy that?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
pretty good.
That's good. That is good.
So that'll
solid.
be good.
That is good.
It'll be good
solid
when that
material.
happens in 100 years.
All right, question number 3. Thanks to DNA and robotic engineering, we will have created incredibly intelligent humans who are immortal. Likelihood? 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. It's more likely that direct brain links using electronics will achieve this, but genetically modifying people will help that by increasing longevity. Next one. We will be able to control the weather.
As if we don't already have
right.
that ability today with the Tesla machines.
The Tesla machines.
There are 4 of them. United States,
No, I know. You've said.
Cuba, China, Russia.
All right.
The 4 Tesla machines.
Cuba has one?
Cuba has
They don't
one.
even have, like, food.
I know, but they
They
have a Tesla machine.
Okay. 8 out of 10 is the likelihood on that one.
8 out of 10.
Antarctica will be open for business.
About time.
Yeah, it's about time.
How long have we been screaming for that?
Likelihood?
We just had Antarctica open for business, man. I would
be there all the time.
Oh, I'd be vacationing there. I'd have a winter home there.
Yeah.
It would be like Shangri-La to me.
The futurists say the likelihood is an 8 out of 10 on that one.
Okay.
Here's one that you may have heard someone talk about. One single worldwide currency.
Gee, I can't imagine that happening.
Yeah. Likelihood 8 out of 10.
I'd say it's stronger than that.
This is very plausible. We are already seeing electronic currency that can be used anywhere, and this trend will continue. It's quite likely that there will be only a few regional currencies by the middle of the century and worldwide acceptance of global electronic currency. This will gradually mean the others fall out of use, and only one will be left by the end of the century.
Well, and it'll all be done electronically. You won't have to have actual currency with you. Like when we went to Israel. All you have to do is have your ATM with you.
Yeah,
And it just converts the shekels into dollars or dollars to shekels, whatever the deal is.
Yeah.
And it just comes out of your account. I mean, why would you need that?
Yeah. By the way, the other futurist just disagrees on that one. Says the trend is actually more in the opposite direction. The internet is enabling new forms of bartering and value exchange. Local currencies are also now used by several hundred communities across the U.S. and Europe. In other words, look for many different types of currency and exchange, not fewer in the coming decades. But I guess the point there is, though, you have so much technology that you can easily convert everything really quickly, so it'll be actually easier to keep your own currency. But in a way, that's still a currency. Like the idea that doesn't matter what units you're in, you're still trading the same thing back and forth.
Right.
You're trading an electronic currency, basically. Number 7, we will all be wired to computers to make our brains work faster.
What do they think the likelihood of that is?
10 out of 10.
What?
100%. We can expect this as soon as 2050 for many people. By 2075, most people in the developed world will use machine augmentation of some sort for their brains, and by the end of the century, pretty much everyone will. If someone else does this, you will have to compete. You'll have to do it.
That's unbelievable.
Can you imagine, though? Like, everyone would be so much smarter than you.
I
like,
can't
like
imagine.
I'm not going to do that. And everyone's calculating like 9 million
I
things
wouldn't
per
do
second.
it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd do it.
I know, it's scary. That's what big, what's that guy, Ray Kurzweil? Singularity. He believes that you'll have that. You'll be able to learn an entire language in a second because you can just, it's like the Matrix, and download it. Nano robots will flow around your body, fixing cells, and will be able to record our memories. Likelihood? 7 out of 10. They think that's coming within the next 100 years. We will have nuclear fusion. Likelihood 10 out of 10. We will have nuclear fusion, likely by 2045 to 2050, and almost certain by 2100. It is widely predicted that we will achieve this. Number 10. It's a list of 20, but we got time. Let's go through this. I think it's pretty interesting.
It is.
Number 10. There will only be 3 languages in the world: English, Spanish, and Mandarin.
Huh.
Likelihood 8 out of 10.
I disagree with that. I think there's only going to be Spanish and Mandarin.
This looks like a powerful trend. Other languages don't stand a lot of a chance. Minor languages are dying at a huge rate already, and the other major ones are mostly in areas where everyone educated speaks at least one of the other 3. It's true. I mean, you go anywhere, you're going to find... the only one I would say that maybe could be included in that would be French. seems to be still all over the world in certain places. I mean, you got, obviously Canada, France, the Ivory Coast. I mean, you've got it kind of have that spread all over, but maybe that one's going to die too. 80% of the world will have gay marriage is the next one. 80% of the world, not America, but the world by 2100. Likelihood 8 out of 10. Seems to be inevitable. I think this is true, by the way. I think largely this is true. This is inevitable to those of us in the West and is likely to mean different kinds of marriages being available to everyone. Gay people might pick different options from heterosexual people, but everyone will be allowed any option. So again, that's not saying it's gay marriage. That's saying anything. Some religions will be highly resistant, though, because of strong religious influences, so it isn't certain. And it's hard to believe, like Iran, if it's somewhat made up the same way, is going to be approving that anytime soon. If you remember, actually, they don't need to approve it because, as President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said, there are no gay people in Iran.
So it doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter to them.
No.
Number 12, California will lead the breakup of the United States. Likelihood, ready for this? 8 out of 10.
Jeez.
The breakup of the United States. There are some indications already that California wants to split off, and such pressures tend to build over time. It's hard to see this waiting until the end of the century. Maybe under an East Coast cluster will want to break off too. Pressures come from the enormous differences in wealth generation capability and people not wanting to fund others if they can avoid it. And that's what conservatives believe. I don't want to freaking fund California when they screw up. Let them go. Number 13, space elevators.
Been waiting for this for a while.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. Space elevators. Likelihood, space elevators will make space travel cheap and easy. The likelihood, 8 out of 10 by 2100. First, space elevators will certainly be around, and then although cheap is a relative term, it will be a lot cheaper than conventional space development. All right, number 14. Women will be routinely impregnated by artificial insemination rather than by a man. The likelihood there, 5 out of 10. So we think dudes should have some role for a while. That's good. But
dudes. We will eventually become obsolete.
Obviously. Well, at least there's a 50% chance. It might take 200 years.
They'll still need somebody to take out the garbage, so they might leave a few of us around.
Number 15. There will be museums for almost every aspect of nature, as so much of the world's natural habitat will have been destroyed.
Yeah, like the rainforest, gone.
Right. Now,
gone.
Now, this is the typical
All
left-wing...
trees, gone.
Right. This is the typical left-wing prediction. They have both on here, which is interesting. The one world currency was what, 8 out of 10 or 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
The 3 languages left was 10 out of 10. This one, 2 out of 10. When you go to the left-wing crazy prediction, left is 2 out of 10. Go through the last few here. Deserts will become tropical forests. Likelihood 7 out of 10. Again, that's another against the environmentalist. Marriage will be replaced by an annual contract. Likelihood 6 out of 10. Sovereign nation states will cease to exist and there'll be one world government. Likely 2 out of 10. That's a surprising one. We should go into that one tomorrow. War of the West will be fought totally by remote control. Likely 5 out of 10. And Britain will have had a revolution. Likelihood 7 out of 10. A revolution in Britain. So there you go. Pretty interesting list.
And the likelihood Barry Manilow will have a hit in the next 100
hold on,
years?
let me scroll down. 0
0
out of 10. 0 out of 10.
Nobody thinks that's ever going to happen again.
Never. That was a once in a lifetime sort of. Once in a generation.
It was a weird, freaky decade, the 70s.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about that anymore.
You really fueled that. You were there. You were there for the whole thing.
I was there.
You loved the music.
I regret it. I'm not going to say I didn't. I did regret it. But yeah, I was there. I was a part of it.
The first part of admitting a problem is, look, stepping in and admitting it.
Exactly.
And moving forward.
That's right.
There you go.
See you tomorrow.
It's also the last step in admitting a problem.
This is the 4th hour
on GBTV.com. The truth lives here.